Well, it's dinner time, May 8th, Saturday, and I haven't gotten out detecting today because I thought it was going to rain. So I stayed up all night, working on episode 106 of Chuckin Dirt and playing video games. And I figured, I'll just sleep in and hang out at the house. So I've been hanging out all day and it never rained. Son of a gun. Um, So my wife said, "Hey, how would you like some pizza?" And I was like, "Hey, that's a great idea." And I came to my favorite pizza place. You've seen me detect here, actually. They have a little field behind their restaurant. And so I was like, "Oh, well, they always let me detect there. They're super nice. They like me there." So I showed up, and there's a sign in the window saying they're closed for a week. They don't say why. Obviously, they're probably doing some refurbishing inside, or maybe the family's on vacation or something. So no one's here. So, um, I'm thinking maybe I am going to just detect in their field anyway. I mean, the family lives right across the street, so, or at least some members of the family do, so they'll see me out there. They always say yes. I think it'll be okay, um, but, can't promise we'll actually find anything. So, here goes nothing. Well, Uh, so far, not much. I have hit this field pretty hard, including with the big coil in the past. So maybe I won't find anything. I did find a little something. This is interesting. Have a look. So at first, I thought this was some kind of a pipe fitting, and then I saw the peace symbol. And what it looks like is this was a ring. It's obviously made of junk metal. And this is the band, which somehow broke from the ring and then rolled up on itself when it got compacted in the ground. Neither of these pieces is made of precious metal. This piece, the part that was underneath, I have unbound it a little bit, but this part here, the shiny part here, was originally underneath that part of the band. And by reversing them, I've exposed some of the original metal. It looks like it's probably, brass covered in, I don't know, maybe rhodium or something to make it shiny. No value, but I'm a big believer in peace, love, and understanding. So I'll take that home. Yeah. Just goes to show you, no such thing as hunted out ground. Can't stay too long. The family's hungry, and unfortunately, this restaurant's closed, so I have to get pizza somewhere else. It's too bad. These guys make the best pizza ever. Okay. All right. I gotta get back to it. Swing a little bit longer, see if I can turn something up. Well, not much so far. Just a few pennies and that little ring you saw. Just did get another penny, but it's a weedy, so I figured I'd show it to you. She blows. That is a 1953, I believe. Can't see a mint mark. 53 weedy. And there's the impression you can see of the coin. This always fascinates me. The coin was originally dropped, of course, on top of the ground, and then it settled through the thatch and sunk into the ground over time. And it always, when coins do this, they bring a little piece of the thatch with them. That brown grass you can see is actually the grass that coin fell on top of. I don't know, something about being pressed up against the copper preserves that little piece of thatch. All around it, that grass is completely decayed away into dirt. But right there is a little piece of the original grass that was on this field when that coin was dropped. And it was a good 4 inches or so down, so it probably has been here for 20 or 30 years. That's a 30-year-old piece of grass. That's crazy. Actually, when I flipped this plug, the coin was gone, but I could see the thatch, so I immediately knew it was a penny. And you can see right there, broken into pieces, that's the other half of the coin impression, and it also has some thatch on it, some dried up grass. Now that the coin's been removed, of course, that thatch will resume its normal decay process. Strange. It's weird. It's weird what happens in the ground over time. Whew. All right, I'm sure the family's getting hungry, so I'm going to swing a little bit more, and I'll have to go over to Second Best and get the Second Best pizza tonight because this place isn't open. So anyway, a member of the family did come out of the house to see who I was, and I talked to him for a little while. We're all good, so. All right, moving right along. You see that thing going bonkers? Listen to what I'm listening to. The machine's not broken. What that is RF interference. You know, there are houses all around me. They got microwaves and things. There's mostly these power lines all around me. There's 3 transformers over there. There's one over there. There's another one over there. I'm surrounded by sources of radio interference. And the Minelab includes a number of ways to deal with radio interference. The first one is the first setting. You go to this, you hold down this button, and the Minelab samples the surrounding noise and tries to pick a channel that has the least amount of noise on it. And as you can see, it went from channel 7 to channel 5. But here the noise is so bad, that doesn't matter. So what else can you do? Well, another thing that you can do, and this makes me a little sad, is you can lower the sensitivity of the machine. The lower you make the sensitivity, the quieter it gets. So now I'm at sensitivity 15, and as you can see, the display isn't doing much. A little peep every now and then. Not hearing much anymore. Occasional warbles. Nothing too bad. Well, here's the problem. If you turn the sensitivity down, you're not getting as much depth on the coil. This is undesirable. So what can you do? I mean, when you're in an area like this, where there's high EMR, and you want sensitivity. There is one other option on the Minelab, and I think it's something that people maybe don't think of a lot. So let me show you this little trick. Now you will lose something with this trick as well. So different pieces of metal sometimes, and different soil conditions, respond to different frequencies differently. And so by default, the Minelab is usually in this multi-frequency mode. And this means it's constantly sampling a number of different frequencies. But it doesn't have to. You can set it to specific frequencies, like this. All right, so now I'm at 5 kilohertz. And you can see I'm still getting noise, but it sounds a lot lower. There's a couple of midtones and a lot of low grunty iron sounds. But a number of the high tone signals, which are the kind of signals you're really looking for if you're looking for brass or silver or something like that, those have disappeared. And the hope here is, I mean, obviously you're trying to pick out a meaningful signal against all this background noise. But you can try rotating through these frequencies. This one's a little quieter. That one's even quieter. Almost silent. We're at full sensitivity, and we found a frequency that doesn't seem to be interacting, you know, that the surrounding power lines and so forth aren't on. I believe there's one more frequency. Yeah, there's 40. Or multi, which right here is a noise fest. So when you change your frequency, you know, when you go from the multi-frequency, which is scanning all different kinds of bands, all different responses that are coming out of ground, from the metal inside the field generated by the coil. You're giving up, you know, if you change frequencies, you're giving up some stuff. Because when you scan them all, you know, it doesn't matter how the metal responds. You're going to hear it. You're going to pick it up on one of those frequencies. So, but, you know, if you can't work in that level of background noise, what difference does it make? I mean, if you hear the tone and it sounds just like the background noise, you're not going to find it anyway, right? So, so this may be something that you can try if you use, you know, Minelab or Equinox, or if you have another variety of machine which is multi-frequency that allows you to select frequencies. So something to consider if you're out detecting and you're dealing with high EMF like I am right now with all these power lines around me. They're going around me in a big circle. I'm being bathed in electromagnetic radiation right now. So anyway, so a little tip for you Equinox users and possibly users of other machines. All right, I'm going to swing for just a little bit longer on this frequency, and then I'm going to get going. I just had a fun little find. I dug another one of this variety here a couple of years back, and at the time I thought it was one thing and it turned out to be another. And this is of that same variety, which I don't see very often. Here, have a look. Unfortunately, it's incomplete. You can see it's a little toy car. And when I saw those wheels, I said, oh, it's probably a Tootsie toy, but it is not a Tootsie toy. This is a Lesney, made in England by Lesney. And this is not the first Lesney I have found here, but I believe I've only ever found one other, and it was here. So it probably belonged to the same kid. And as you can see, it was a double-decker bus at one time, but the body of the bus is gone. A little tiny piece of it remained, but that's it. Probably the door or something, part of the hood, who knows. But that's enough information. I can probably look it up and find out what it originally looked like, although you can guess. Yeah, a Lesney toy. I believe they date to the 60s or the 50s. So not super old, you know, 60, 70 years old. Been here a long time, that's for sure. And I'm confident that I've never found it before because of the RF noise from these lines. Changing to this different frequency seems to have helped me. So, all right, I really need to get going. I'm going to swing just a little bit more, but this is probably the end of the video. See you on the next one. Oh man, I just spent a good 10 minutes chasing after the deepest, massiest signal I ever decided to dig. It was so faint. I was like, yeah, it's got to be junk. Well, some might say it's junk, but oddly, I'm still happy with it. I imagine you want to know what it is. Have a look. That's a brass rivet. This kind of thing would have been used with leatherwork, you know, for horse tack or oxen tack, that kind of thing. So there you go. A little brass rivet. And these things, they sound really, really nice. They're made of brass, so if your coil passes over one, you get this nice high tone, and you're like, ooh, something interesting. And then you pull out a rivet. And the thing is, if you hunt like on a farm, you'll find lots of these. Lots and lots of rivets. So after a while, they will begin to seem like junk. But it's still a connection to the past. To a time when people around here were getting around on horses rather than in vehicles. Alright. I think I'm done. I'm tired. Anyway, I hope you found that exciting. You know, I love to keep my audience riveted. Alright, well, I guess that's it. So today we had the Lesney, the brass rivet. a wheat penny, 53, and a handful of pennies, like 5 or 6 of them. And the ring, the peace ring, made of junk metal. That was it. But I still had a good time, and I hope you enjoyed this little hunt, and I hope I will see you on the next hunt. Here goes nothing.